Hello, my name is Angel Andres Rosario Rivera, and this is the research project of the war in Ukraine. First things first, we gotta learn about the backstory of Ukraine, Russia, and the Soviet Union. Ukraine, or known as Little Russia, is a semi-presidential republic and is the second largest country in Eastern Europe. Its capital is Kiev in north-central Ukraine, and its eastern borders relate to Russia. Ukraine is commonly known for extremely beautiful culture, diverse landscape and tradition, as well as the country in which the worst nuclear disaster has ever occurred, which is, of course, the infamous Chernobyl incident. Fun fact, it is also the place where the largest plane was ever built, which is the Antonov AN-225. It is a one of a kind, but sadly it was destroyed due to the war. Ukraine is also one of the most educated countries in the world. About the Antonov 225, due to the destruction that the Russians caused, it is estimated that it will take approximately 5 to 10 years to rebuild the Antonov to what it was in its former glory. Now that we know a little bit of backstory of Ukraine, let's go over to Russia, which is a country located in the eastern part of Europe and in the northern part of Asia. As we know, its capital is Moscow in the western part of Russia. The country also has one of the largest borders with water in the world, as well as one of the biggest countries in the world. Russia is commonly known for its capital's beauty, the history that follows Russia, its people, etc. Russia is also one of the biggest oil suppliers in the world. The oil goes to America, Europe, Asia, Africa, everywhere. Russia is also known for having different conflicts against Ukraine, such as in the 20th century and prior in the 19th century as well as the 2014 invasion of Ukraine in the Donbass area, in which it was a Russian win due to them taking Crimea. Now let's take a look at the Soviet Union, in which Russia and Ukraine come along together, which the Soviet Union, otherwise known as the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, or the USSR, was an Eurasian empire consisting of various other countries, which included Belarus, Kazakhstan, and as you see, Russia and Ukraine. This giant empire was first created by the Russian revolutionary Vladimir Lenin in 1917 and ended in 1991 with President Gorbachev's decision to dissolve the USSR alongside with Belarus and Ukraine. The Soviet Union was a communist and socialist state with more than 100 nationalities, but more of them were Russians, Belarusians, and Ukrainians. And it's also occupied nearly one sixth of the Earth's land surface. That's how you know how massive the Soviet Union was. When the country collapsed, some of these territories became independent right after, when others were became independent a couple of months later. Now that we know the backstory of Russia and Ukraine, why do we have this war? Well, on the morning on the 24th of February 2022, the Kremlin, otherwise known as Vladimir Putin, the president of Russia, made a live statement on TV talking about how he has decided to, in quotes, conduct a special military operation. He also adds, and from his words, it aims to protect people who have been built, who have been bullied and subjected to genocide by the Kiev regime for 8 years. For that, we will strive the demilitarization and denazification of Ukraine and will bring to justice those who committed multiple bloody crimes. In which, may I add, the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, is bloody Jewish. Anyway, at the time, at the same time as the broadcast was live, military personnel, tanks, helicopters, vehicles, etc., crossed the east border of Ukraine. That, that leads to Russia, signifying that indeed the Russia had invaded Ukraine. The border that in the east border of Ukraine that led to Russia was invaded, but as well as the northern border that leads to Belarus and the south part of Ukraine that where Crimea and the Donbass war occurred, in which in the south part of Ukraine led to missiles crashing into Ukraine, destroying infrastructure, killing civilians while they were sleeping, not knowing that there was a war, houses being destroyed, and causing just utter and complete chaos. This invasion will be known as the biggest war in Europe since World War II, and it will change the course of the world forever. Now, the current status of the war is that right now, as we speak, Russian forces have captured Kherson, Melitopol, Crimea, and other places, as well as more than 1 million people have fled the country for their neighbors, such as Poland, Germany, Spain, Hungary, uh, as well as some people have gone to America, etc. Russia is still bombing Ukraine, although they have retreated from the capital Kiev, which was invaded in the north parts, in which after a 10-week long siege, Russian forces retreated from Kiev and started focusing on the east side of Ukraine. One of the most powerful militaries in the world is struggling their fight against a noticeable smaller military defense against civilians and the military itself. Russia, one of the biggest world powers, is is is, is capturing very are capturing territory, but it looks like the Russian military as well as Putin underestimated the resistance that the Ukrainians were going to give to them. Many countries have to deliver money, weapons, volunteers as well to Ukraine. I'm very sorry for that. Anyway, since most of the gas in the world comes from Russia, many countries have decided to stop getting Russian gas instead of increasing the budget and more gas around the world. This is what we see in Puerto Rico as well as America and other places in the world. Due to Russian gas being the majority, that let's say for example, Germany. Germany has a very large amount of Russian gas that gets delivered to them. So if Germany were to cut were to cut uh, oil and gas ties with Russia, their gas value will increase significantly, meaning that they're going to have that Germany has to make more gas pumps, in which more money, in which more civilian, more Germans having to pay more money to just to fill 1 or 2 bars for their car. Around two and sadly around 27,000 Ukrainian soldiers have perished and around 3,000 civilians have been killed in the crossfire. Why the world will change the course of our why this war will change the course of our world forever? Three main reasons. Number one, since most of the as we talked about, since most of the gas in the world comes from Russia, many countries have decided to stop getting Russian gas, increasing the budget for more and more gas around the world. Number two, due to this war, the relationship between Russia and NATO will be even further than ever before. More countries may join NATO, for example, Finland, making Russia even less powerful and making Putin even more stressed for having a NATO ally on their doorstep. And once the war is over, and hopefully, let's pray to God that Ukraine wins, it will leave behind a country destroyed, morale distinguished, families will be left torn apart, thousands, even millions dead, hundreds homeless, and possibly another world war that will leave millions, possibly billions, dead or homeless. There are 4 photos of Ukraine that I want you to see here. There's a soldier right next to a burning car, and as you can see, it looks incredibly bad, especially in this photo, where many it looks like Ukrainians or Russians, I don't know, are are like leading or covering a tank, probably for an ambush. And if you see here, that looks familiar. It's bloody Chernobyl. If if the Russians get a hold of Chernobyl, who knows what they might do? Possibly they probably make a Chernobyl 2.0. Who knows? But let's just hope that never happens. And this is the plane that I was talking about, the one of a kind Antonov AN 225, in which, if you can see, it's pretty it's pretty big, and and that's how it was left when it was attacked, where it was just horrible. Thank you for watching this video. Here's all the links that you can see I have left for all the information, where I got all the information, as well as the video of Putin declaring war, and a 20-minute video on where it gives more reasons on why the war will change the course of our world, as well as the current status of the war. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice day.